Welcome back to another general discussion. My name's Zach. I'm joined in the booth by Ryan. How's it going, man?
Good, Zach. Good, yeah.
That's well. Good. Today we're taking a look at a bunch of the new spoilers from Empire at War.
Correct. 6 new spoilers.
That's exciting. Let's get right into it with a character card for heroes in K2SO, Reprogrammed Droid.
So a pretty solid card for this. It's another hero, red hero, 15 for standard, 20 for elite, 12 cost hero. He's a legendary card. Let's look at his dice first. Let's have a real look at his dice. Very, very good dice, I think. It's a very solid dice. It's up there with Luke. Damage side's the same as Vader. The only difference between him and, say, the Luke dice is you've got an extra shield here and he has to disrupt as opposed to the focus. So very, very good dice. There's a lot of damage on board there. The interesting thing for this, which is what puts me in two minds for this card, is his text, is his abilities. You can go into that because we've had a lot of discussions about this in store. So
the first line of text on K2SO is a trait that's a cost to play a weapon on this character is increased by 2.
Yep. It's a lot. That's a lot to swallow.
That's a huge downside. A lot of Destiny is I want to put this on my character, get more dice, roll in, do more stuff.
So if you're putting a vibro on him, it's 4. 4 cost.
But the opposite side to that is his second line of text, which states after you play or move a weapon onto this character for the first time each game, ready him.
Yeah. So that's a huge upside as well.
That's so strong.
It is. I mean, being able to get that damage on board potentially twice in a turn is very, very good. And there's some strategies you can employ to help reduce that cost. You can play data pads on him and upgrade from equipment, because obviously it says weapon only. So you could have equipment items on him that you can upgrade over and above that to help reduce the cost. In saying that as well, I don't know if I could play this card. I don't know if I'd play him over Luke, even though he's sort of a different character. It's different decks, etc. Would you play him over Poe, Maz? Would you play him over Poe? I mean, same health.
Yeah, comparing it to Poe, like he's 12 health like Poe, costs 2 more.
Yeah.
You can potentially do, 6 damage a turn with the 3s.
Correct.
But Poe is just going to do more consistent damage. You've probably got a longer, Poe's an aggro deck, but you've got more stuff you can do with him. K2SO is sort of a one-trick pony.
Correct.
Although notoriously taking an extra turn, taking an extra move is so strong in card games historically.
Especially with his dice.
It does seem very expensive, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple of ways to make it viable.
Yes.
It's especially interesting to note that it is play or move.
Correct.
The only common way to move an upgrade at the moment is Cargo Bay, which is a claim ability for battlefield.
Yes.
So even if you get ready him, you won't be attacking with him a second time.
Right. Or redeploy. So if you have a character...
So if somebody else dies...
You can move it on. He can activate again.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, to play him, I think you'd almost just be relying upon his dice on board and decking out another character with the option to then move stuff at a later date, hoping that character dies. But I think if you're playing against this card, you'd be going after him first, realistically. Right? I think that's what you'd have to do to take him on. So, look, as I said, it's early days. It's interesting to see how he will work.
I'm excited to see how he'd be supported.
So you won't play fast hands on him anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So interesting. Let us know what you guys think about this. It's been a pretty raging debate in our store as to whether or not he's good or bad. So I think time will tell.
Sure.
But it's good. It's good. What do you think of the art on him? I know some people have been complaining about the art.
It's cool. It's so flavorful, man. It's like
it is.
He gets the blaster from Jin and then goes to town. It's just like a cool snapshot of that scene.
Which there is no blaster damage on the dice, mind you.
Yeah, I know. Flavor fail.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to steer away from It's a Trap with Red Heroes. Wanted to give us something else to do apart from play one card.
And he was good in melee. I mean, from the movie, he was throwing stormtroopers around left, right, and centre.
Does that count as melee?
I think so, yeah.
All right, let's jump into the second card here. Correct. We're looking at the LR1K Lurk Sonic Cannon.
Yeah.
Do you want to run us through this one?
Big card. Lots of big points and big attributes on this card. So a 5 cost, a lot of money. The damage side is huge. It's worth to note that I think this dice is the first dice in the game to have a 6 damage side, I believe. I don't think anything else has a 6
damage. I think ATSD might do.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. Okay, then I could be wrong.
Who's ever played an ATSD though?
That's true. Just artillery, so it's not a vehicle, it's a support artillery. 3, 4, 5, 6, so really strong. I mean, this, again, if you're playing Pomaz, this goes in there. It's a neutral card, so anyone can take it. The interesting thing with this card is before resolving this dice, you may exhaust a character to remove the cost of paying to do the damage, which
That's
is
right.
pretty significant. So you can have sort of jabroni characters out there, your low cost characters, your stormtrooper, whatever it is, that gives them a huge amount of opportunity to do a lot more damage.
Yeah.
The issue is getting this card out.
Yeah.
Like it's a 5 cost card to get out. Again,
I do think it sees a place. There's a deck that's been popular lately, which is the 2-trooper TIE Pilot Balatic Aftermath deck.
Yes, yeah.
Which lets you guys die, gain resources from that.
Correct,
The aim is to play endless ranks.
Yeah.
But if you're paying 5, you can play a Sonic Cannon.
Yeah.
Exhausting one of those chumps doesn't matter to you, and that's 6 damage that you can do, which is sweet.
Yeah.
It's also cool to note, last time we were here, we were speaking about a new card from Empire at War of Ruthlessness.
Yes.
Which increases a die by the resource cost on it.
Yeah.
And we were speculating to whether something like this would exist, and sure enough, we've got a 2 and a 3 cost resource side on this die, which is really cool.
So that's 9 damage off the cost.
Yeah, man.
That's a character.
It's
there,
very
right?
cool.
It's pretty brutal. I suppose if you're comparing it to other cards out there, again, it's a different deck, but Rocket Launcher, would you play this over Rocket Launcher? It's potential. I would like for this card to work, and I think look for vehicles to work. And for these spoilers, there's been a little bit of a vehicle sort of theme, especially with the Battlefield, which we'll get into later. I think with supports, it's always hard because, as we know, they're very action inefficient. But to have this on board is a scary prospect to be doing 6 damage off 1 dice.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Let's take a look at the next one. We're looking at Thermal Paint, a upgrade weapon.
Made for Sabine, really.
Made for Sabine, that's it.
Yeah.
It's 2 cost, it's yellow. After you activate attached character, force an opponent to choose and deal 1 damage to one of their characters.
Yep.
So whenever you activate, it's immediately 1 damage where they choose.
Correct.
And then after that, you may discard this to do another damage to the character that was assigned a damage by that player.
And for those who haven't looked at Sabine, she was spoiled sort of recently for a flight report.
We were speaking about her in the last video, but she allows you to replay thermal weapons from the graveyard, isn't it?
For 1 cost less, correct? So you could basically play this for 1, which is pretty impressive. I mean, to me, this is look. You wouldn't just play this on Sabine, but it's where it shines. But if you had 2 of these cards on a character or on a Sabine, that's 2 damage at least from activation, which is pretty nice. Potentially 4 damage off if you discard the card as well.
Yeah.
There's it's splash damage, but it's really, really good, and it starts
something that people have underrated is splash damage. With Palpatine, people thought he was going to be awful because they choose.
Yes.
But now Palpatine's seeing great success.
Correct.
As 2 character meta such as Pomaz and Vader Raiders being popular.
And this is just done from activation.
Exactly.
So once it's there, you just take the damage, and then you can couple this with things like Planetary Uprising. All of a sudden, you're taking a bunch of damage a turn, which it's hard. I mean, for anyone who's played this game long enough, when you're taking splash damage, it's a real calculation as to where you put that damage. And the more damage you take, the weaker your hand becomes.
For sure.
And then, of course, if you roll in over the top of that with thermal detonators and those sort of things, it just your characters are suddenly close to death and you're dying. So, look, I think this is good. I think it'll definitely see play on Sabine. I think Sabine's going to be a big thing with this new set. But I can see it being played on most hero decks. If you had a yellow in there, you'd run it. I mean, it'd be a good excuse to take Ezra. You could run this along with Mace Windu and those sort of characters to get that damage, to do 8 damage.
Get the double tap.
To get the damage
That's so cool.
Off activation. It's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Seems good. I'm not sure if I played it in every deck, but it's definitely awesome with Sabine. Cool in a couple of other decks as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll jump to the next one here is Pinned Down. Unconditional removal.
Yep.
Pay 1, remove any die.
With a vehicle.
As long as you spot a vehicle, exactly. Yep. So this card, Ryan and I were chatting about it earlier. You reckon it's a bit overcosted?
Well, you've convinced me that it's not.
I have? Okay.
So I was thinking you need a vehicle out, so you're paying for the vehicle to get a vehicle out, and vehicles, for the most part, aren't cheap unless you're running like a smuggling freighter.
You want a reward for getting a vehicle out.
Correct. And vehicles, as we said, let's talk about vehicles quickly. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of vehicles played in the game currently because of the action and efficiency of vehicles. So I think one thing I'd like to see out of this next set, which possibly will happen, because I said we're seeing some vehicle themes, would be maybe something like Wingman for a vehicle. You activate a character, you can activate a vehicle at the same time.
Because that's it. They set you in action back, which is huge.
Correct. And then there's not, unless you're running things with ambush and those sort of things, there's not a lot of way to resolve a dice. Now, vehicle dice traditionally are quite good, and you pay for them. But I sort of think that's where I was thinking this might have been overcost because you're paying the one resource, to have that, to be able to use this. But like you mentioned, with isolation, those sort of things, it's good and it's unconditional. You can remove. It's not a character dice; it's any dice you want.
That's it. You were comparing it to Isolation before, which is 1 cost, remove a character die. There are a lot of cards like that, like Electroshock as well. 1 cost, remove a 2 or less.
Yeah.
The thing is, there are almost no cards that unconditionally remove a die.
Get rid of that.
There's Flank and there is 1/4 portion.
Yes, yep.
Flank requiring you to have build your list in a certain way.
And have characters ready.
Yep. And 1/4 portion costing you 1 and giving your opponent a resource as well.
Yep.
So remove a die, even if it costs 1 and has to require a vehicle to be spotted, I think is a great effect.
Yeah, I think this is a good card. And as I said, I'd like to see vehicles become a thing in the game. I mean, one of the things that's just great in Star Wars is not just the characters, it's also the vehicles.
Oh yeah, they're so iconic. You want to see them on the table. You want to see them doing well. Good card in the right deck.
Yeah, it's going to be a vehicle card deck that it needs to play.
Let's roll on to the next card. Roll on.
Good segue.
So roll on is a 0 cost event, neutral.
Great card.
It reads, reroll 1 of your dice.
Yep.
You may reroll that die.
Again.
You may reroll that die again.
Correct.
So it's kind of like a...
It's roll until you get what you want.
Exactly, yeah.
I actually think this is a really good card. I can see it being played in a lot of decks, especially where you're playing characters with a lot of damage on board, where we talked about Vader, Luke, and now K2SO. We've played this game long enough where you're discarding cards to get the rerolls and you never get exactly what you want. This is really good because you can just reroll. Getting 3 chances to roll what you want certainly increases the chances of
for sure.
of getting the result you want.
Most characters' damage sides are 1 in 3.
Correct.
So that does lend to that.
And the good thing to note with this, and there may be more cards that will work in conjunction with this, Imperial Inspection will work with this. So you can roll a Disrupt. That'll go into the queue, and then you can get the result you want while still utilizing that Disrupt.
That's brilliant.
As well.
So, just keep triggering those salvage stands. And I like it.
So I think this is good. I think you'll see in a lot of decks. It works well as if you've got a couple of dice out and you really want to get a particular damage. You don't want to, you want to guarantee a particular result.
Yeah.
If you're discarding a card to reroll all your dice, or you can use this to reroll 1 dice to get
I think
the special that you want. Whatever.
It lends itself to decks that care about like 1 character such as Vader Raider or K2SO or Luke.
Correct. Yep.
We want to see that 2 or 3 damage side. You can just keep trying for it.
Yeah. Or Emperor or something like that.
Yeah, Emperor, of course. Yeah.
It's Look, I think it's a good card. I think we'll see it played a lot.
Yeah, sweet. Any sort of aggro deck or 1 character focus deck or, like you said, salvage stand, that's cool.
And 0 cost makes it good.
Exactly.
It's a safe card.
Yeah, it's got to fit in a lot of decks.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to a new Battlefield.
So Battlefield,
Weapons Factory Alpha. Run us through it, Ryan.
So, again, we talked about the vehicle flavor for the deck. If you're running a vehicle deck, you'd sort of want to play this, but there's also Moisture Farmer, which sort of does the same thing, right? I mean, I'm in 2 minds about this deck, this Battlefield as well. I don't know if I would certainly play it. I think, look, it has its advantages by deducting that resource, and if you're running a vehicle deck, it's good because you're really the one that's capitalizing from it as opposed to running Moisture Farmer, where if your opponent claims they get the resource sort of thing.
That's right. It feels bad. Like, it seems like a very weak effect compared to some Battlefields take your opponent's die, or they remove something straight away, or make you special.
Correct.
But Weapons Factory Alpha...
It's deck-specific, right?
Yeah, so it gives you a bonus for claiming it, although if your opponent isn't on the same deck, they're not playing vehicles, and they claim it, they get nothing from it.
Exactly.
So the vehicles, as we were saying earlier, tend to be slow and dirtily because you've got to take your time doing these extra actions to activate your supports. So you'll often miss out on the battlefield. So having something like this that just is a blank to your opponent is not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
If you're playing a vehicle deck, I feel like you would have to play this. Like, you may do Moisture Farmer over the top because it gives you more diversity as to what you want to do, but you want to make sure you're then claiming.
Yeah.
It's an interesting battlefield, and again, that's why we sort of talk about. I think we'll see more vehicle cards, things that'll make vehicles better in this new set with some more spoilers.
That's right.
I mean, and let's talk about, what's something you would like to see in the new set? Like, what's some cards that you would like to see help, perpetuate the game, drive? For me, I'd like to see something like, something to get rid of upgrades, whether it be like a crippling blow or something along those lines. You could have the artwork with Vader chopping off Luke's hand or something like that, which removes, you deal damage, remove or upgrade to the cost of that damage sort of
That'd
thing.
be cool.
That sort of stuff I think the game definitely has room for. Definitely making vehicles better.
Sure. I'd love to see some more vehicles in the game. Yeah. there's design space there. They could chuck in X-Wings, TIE Fighters, do a bit of like a fast vehicle deck with some like a vehicle kind of squad tactics, a wingman, like you were saying earlier.
I love to play TIE
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that's right.
With some TIEs and a bunch of TIE Fighter pilots and those sort of things. I mean, to me, it feels like TIE Fighter pilot is set up for that. So
yeah, maybe he does. Does he have like a pilot trait or anything? Or
yeah, well, I mean, you can't. It's all modified sides, right? But you can't remove the dice. So
that's right.
That feels good. But yeah, anyway, that's our thoughts. Let us know.
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning in. That's it. Let us know what you think about the new set. Like it so far.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitch as well. We'll be streaming our store champs in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned to that.
That'll be good.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And when we get more spoilers, we'll let you know our thoughts, and we'll speak to you soon.
That's it.